to the Erotic Realm, where we explore the psychology of darker desires. I'm Em, and if you're new here, welcome. The Erotic Realm podcast has been growing rapidly, and I just want to take a moment to acknowledge all of you, especially those joining us from Substack. Whether you've been here with me from the beginning or just stepping into this world, I'm thrilled to have you here. This podcast is an extension of my work at Psychology of Desire, where I dive into the science and symbolism of the erotic mind. Here, we move beyond surface-level discussions of kink and sexuality. We explore the why behind our desires. Each episode, we step inside the erotic realm of someone who has ventured into these deeper, sometimes darker spaces. People who have found liberation, transformation, or even healing through their desires. By exploring the personal experiences of BDSM practitioners one by one, we break down the myth and dive into the reality of what it means to be a kinkster. So whether you're here out of curiosity, self-exploration, or a drive to understand the erotic mind on a deeper level, welcome. You're exactly where you need to be. Now, I've been mentioning on recent episodes that I had a project that I was about to launch, and I'm excited to announce not one, but two new projects with you today. The first project is the Erotic Realm Confessional. This is a live, on-location, mini version of this podcast. I dreamt up this idea and imagined taking the podcast to live kink events and interviewing kinksters while they are immersed in the kink world in a confessional style setup. I'm thrilled to announce that the Erotic Realm Confessional has been accepted to Oz Kink Fest in Melbourne this October, and I'll be setting up a private booth where kinksters can anonymously share insights into their erotic psychology. To make it happen, I'm raising funds for recording equipment, travel, and creating a beautiful, welcoming space. As a thank you for donating, your name will go on the confessional wall at the event, and you'll be personally thanked in a special episode recorded live from the festival. If this is a project that excites you and you'd love to be a part of it, you can find the donation link in the show notes. The second project I'm sharing with you today answers the question: have you ever wondered if you have similar erotic dreams to other people? Well, we're about to find out with the Deep Desire Project. The Deep Desire Project is a global research archive collecting erotic dreams and fantasies to map the inner terrain of desire across cultures and identities. I'm super excited about this as it brings together my background in sleep science with my love for erotic psychology. So in short, this project aims to be the largest archive of erotic dreams in the world. If you'd like to be part of it, go to psychologyofdesire.com or visit my Substack, Psychology of Desire. I've also left a link to the project in the show notes below. And lastly, before we dive into the episode, just a quick note that the Erotic Realm is growing rapidly right now. If you're a brand or business in the US that's aligned with kink, sex positivity, or erotic psychology, I'm currently seeking American sponsors for upcoming episodes. And now, let's jump into today's Erotic Realm. The following is a conversation with M, a 57-year-old submissive masochist who, after decades of religious life in the American Bible Belt, made a radical shift, moving to the Bay Area, stepping into polyamory, and discovering the liberating truth of her sexuality. In this episode, we explore what it means to awaken your erotic self later in life, the intense connection between pain and pleasure, and the psychology of orgasm denial, and what it feels like to be trained to orgasm on command. If you've ever wondered whether it's too late to reclaim your desire, this is your invitation. Enjoy. Everyone, and welcome to the Erotic Realm podcast. Today, I'm thrilled to have with me Em. Welcome, Em.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Lovely to have you. So, at the request of listeners, I've recently added a new regular question to begin the podcast. And I'd love to know a little bit about you and your interests outside of kink, whether that be your general work area, if you're happy to share that, or your hobbies, or both. Basically, what are you up to when you're not being a kinkster?
When I'm not being a kinkster, I'm
Mm.
usually at work most of the time.
Okay.
I'm in the healthcare field. I'm a
Mm.
nurse, a critical care nurse. Have been for 22 years.
Mm.
Um, Love it. I specialize in different areas. Right now, I'm in the surgical services area. I give, like I do anything, I give 100% to myself, if not 150. And I just enjoy my work. If I'm not doing that, I'm usually reading or listening to music. Those are my
Beautiful.
best hobbies.
What sort of music do you like?
I'm all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy classical, and I go all the way down to country. So uh, I enjoy really the 80s. I really love and jazz, but 80s is my heart. The 80s music, big hair,
Beautiful.
big hair
That's
band.
that's so fascinating. Thanks for sharing. So, if you had to sum up your sexuality, how would you describe it?
I say my sexuality is ever evolving. I'm just discovering it within the last 18 months. Um, I've discovered that I'm a hungry person. Don't want to say woman, don't want to say female, male. I'm a hungry person for life and to know what is my sexuality in developing the feelings that I feel and the energy that I'm having from within me, what it's wanting and what it's trying to find. It's been very held back for most of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Um, So the last 18 months moving out west has given me a chance to open up and be accepted for whatever I'm trying to discover. Because people keep saying, "What are you trying to discover?" I don't know. It's whatever's there.
Mm. So, in terms of your kinky sexuality, how would you describe yourself when it comes to the roles that you inhabit in terms of kink?
In terms of kink, I'm very much submissive, very much. There might be a bit of a switch in there, but I'm very submissive, and I've only within recently discovered how much of a masochist I really am. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and that's with my partner and my owner. And it's really has thrown me for a loop because I didn't realize how much pain and how much pleasure go hand in hand and how much I would love it.
Mm. Yeah, I'd like to get more into that a bit later. But from my
Okay.
understanding, you haven't always been part of the kink scene. In fact, it's a recent adventure for you. You said 18 months. And
Yes.
before that, you were actually living in a religious environment in the Bible Belt of America until your
Yes.
move to the Bay Area. Can you share about that journey?
Um, so the Bible Belt was, I just had to stay hidden like a little canister, top on and ready to explode at all times, baking in the heat of religious sector around me. Um, and what brought me out west was I was for work. And then I came out here, and only way I can explain it is I felt this weight lift off of me. I could be myself. I didn't have to um, be in a role of mother, wife, or anything like grandmother, or anything like that. I could just be myself. I could just be Em. And that opened up doors for me. It helped me be a little freer in getting out in the public, me trying to meet people. Um, and it was just, it was just so eye opening. Um, um, Finding the life out here, even before kink, it was just breathtaking. Because
Mm.
when you're in a misogynistic environment all your life, and then you get into this Bible Belt area, you're really put into a role. You're put into this is what you do, this is what is expected of you. And I fell into that very easily because I like to follow orders. I just do what it's
Mm.
told. And so it was a natural, but I knew there was more to everything. And it was just a little internal flame, I'd say, a little internal hunger that was always there. I try to adventure. I try to research, before there's internet, I read books and just kept everything hidden. And then I'd start to research, investigate things a little bit. And then, I'd put it away because like, no, this isn't right. This isn't normal type of thing. But it was always something there, this little tickle in the back of my brain that was always there. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what led me into my new adventures, my new life.
Okay.
I'm going to call it more my normal. This is me being normal.
Mm-hmm. I love that. So, how did you discover BDSM? So, you moved to the Bay Area and you started to notice people being more
Well,
liberal in their sexuality. What was the journey like
yes.
into BDSM for you?
Okay, so I noticed people being more free, but I'll tell you exactly how it started. Um,
Please.
I was working as a nurse, and I had another nurse, and she just was very friend. We had become good friends and shared everything. And um, I had left the Bible Belt to get out of a difficult marriage and relationship, very abusive, and it'd been almost 6 years since I'd had sex. And she kind of joked one day, and she goes, "Would you please go on this website and just get fucked already?" And I went, "What?" And it was, I don't know if I can share the website, but I went to a website, joined it, and went on a few dates, and then met my owner. And
Mm-hmm.
kind of joked with him because on this vanilla, kind of kinky website, it was like, he put something there about being, a sadist, and how he was the dom. And I'm like, yeah, right. I've heard about this stuff. You're all jokesters, So I started to play with it a little bit, joked around with him, hassled him a little bit, and he called me on it. And we communicated for a few weeks, and then he said, "Meet me in San Francisco for lunch." And I took the train up, met him for lunch. But the minute I got off the train, I saw him, and I knew I was fucked. I knew
Oh,
I was in
yeah.
trouble. I knew his piercing blue eyes, and he'd already told me how I mean, he already played some mind games with me on being a dom, but I still thought I could pull the wool over his eyes, whatever type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And but no, I knew it. I knew it, and got to him, and his touch and his eyes, and it was just amazing. It was like instant chemistry with us. Um,
Mm.
I think he would agree. But we went to lunch, and it was a long, enduring lunch. And then that was August 29th of 2023. And it's been a wonderful journey and experience with him ever since.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Thanks for sharing. Now, you mentioned in the podcast application form that you've come to realize how sexual you can be as a woman. I'd love to hear more about this. What's that realization that you've had?
Um, the realization is that I can, I never really accepted myself as a sexual person. Um,
Mm,
sex was dirty. Sex wasn't something, it was just, you just did it to have kids or whatever. It was never
mm,
looked at to experience pleasure or to even discover yourself. So as a teenager, as a young woman, you try to find things, and just go about life and know there's more to it. But so coming out here, I realized seeing all the freedom that people had with themselves, just living, I come to realize that I am very much sexual sensual. I discovered that the touch excites me, arouses me beyond just a simple touch,
mm-hmm,
um, and that I can be. Uh, I'm allowed to feel sexual. I'm allowed to be aroused. I'm allowed to get turned on.
mm-hmm,
I'm allowed to have sex. I'm allowed to do this stuff for being a woman, just to be a woman. I don't have to do it just to have kids or just to do my wifely duties. This is something that you should be able to enjoy as a human being and to discover who you are and what turns you on, whether it be kink, whether it be any little thing. You should be able to experience that to get the most out of your arousal that you can to enjoy life. Because I think sexuality all goes with living. Um,
mm,
if you can't be your sexual self, you still live, but you get more out of life when you can accept everything and taste and touch everything in your environment and get pleasure from it.
mm-hmm. So it sounds like you feel more alive because of your
I
journeys
do.
into BDSM. Beautiful.
Yes, very much more alive. Oh, much more alive.
I love that. Now, as part of the podcast, I like to explore a quote around sexuality. And today's a little bit different to normal because I'd normally ask you about a well known quote about sexuality, but I'd like to ask your viewpoint about a quote from yourself. You have a
Oh,
quote on your profile that really stood out to me, and it says, I would rather be in a million pieces at his feet than a million miles from his presence. And
oh.
I find this quote really poetic and powerful. Can you tell me more about what the quote means for you? Did you write it?
No, I did. No, I found it, and it wasn't really authored by anybody. I just found it on a site, and I was just like reading through stuff.
Hmm.
Um, and what it means to, what it meant to me is what uh, we had. I mean, we were in the same town, but we weren't together all the time. So when I wasn't with him, um, I mean, I had encouragement. We kept in communication, but I felt, I just didn't feel total. But when I'm with him, I still feel total, but I give myself into all these, no matter what we're doing, there's every little piece of me. And to be, to feel next to him and at his feet, I'd rather be there and just be part of him than be totally whole and not be part of him because I hate it when we're apart.
Mm.
We bring out the best and the worst, the
Mm-hmm.
kinky and the not kinky. Um, we can be very vanilla, but just being in his presence and us being able to interact the way we do means more to me. And to me, it's like if I'm just separate, if he whips me into a thousand pieces, I'm just broken. If I'm a broken soul, even at his feet, I'm still a better person than I was ever without him.
Mm. That's so powerful. Thank you for sharing.
Awesome. Thank you.
I'd like to talk about the psychology of pain and pleasure a little bit more. You
Okay.
describe yourself as a masochist. Can you tell us what being a masochist means to you?
Oh, wow. He asked me the same thing a while ago. And I haven't answered him. What a masochist means to me, well, it can be physical pain, um, which I can get a little more into, but psychological and emotional pain that is I've always experienced, I guess, in some form of growing up.
Mm.
It was never pleasurable, but it was always you have that pain there. Um, and the way I experience it now is even through humiliation or whatever. Um, it brings this warmth, and it's very hard to describe. But being a masochist, but it brings us warmth from internally um,
Mm-hmm.
into every cell of my being. And at first, it was just okay. I'm getting, you know, hit with a cane or something, but it wasn't like that. The first time I was beaten, um, I had immense pleasure and never. It's this pleasure. It's hard to come up with the right word. I apologize.
It's okay.
Um, the pain turns into pleasure, but I'm still feeling the pain of whatever is being done to me.
Mm.
Um, but I take that pain and pull it into my pleasure senses, I guess. I wrap it up, so I'm still feeling the pain, but I'm getting into my where it's turning into pleasure and arouses. Like every cell just erupts, and just gets highly sensitive, and I'm feeling it from my head to my toes, internally, externally. But it's the sense of, and it's like I said, it's not always the physical. It can be the humiliation. It's the pain, what it's causing you in your being. But I turn it around and engulf it in the sensuality that I've discovered,
Mm-hmm.
and use that sensuality to let it take me to where I need to have the pleasure and be aroused even more. Um, because that's what happens. I don't just stop at that moment. It's a continual wave with me.
Mm.
And so it's like I can have these waves in orgasms on and on and on from the pain. And I can't describe the pain itself because everyone feels pain differently.
Mm-hmm.
from different implements or from different words or whatever. But for me, I can take it and it may hurt. Not really, it hurts, but then it depends on which depth it hurts at and where it exposes you to be more vulnerable.
Mm.
Um, and in the vulnerability, I feel then is more arousing to me because I'm being more vulnerable, more open by exposing this pain that someone's giving me, that he's giving me. Um, and I turned it into pleasure. And it's really hard to describe any more than that, that it's something very personal for everybody, I think. But for me, a masochist is willing to accept, feel the pain that is being given to you, accept it, take it in, open yourself up for it, and then allow it to flower or bloom within you to expose this sense of pleasure that you can get from it.
That's very well said. Thank you. I wanted to explore it a bit deeper with an
Okay.
article that I have here, which actually explores the intricate relationship between pain, stress, and female orgasm.
Okay.
So there's a common assumption that pain and pleasure exist on opposite ends of the spectrum. But as you're describing, and now scientific research is catching up and telling us that it's a much more complex and intriguing story. So, one study in particular, the effects of sympathetic activation on physiological and subjective sexual arousal in women, investigates how stress and nervous system activation influence female sexual arousal. And they actually found that mild stress can enhance physiological arousal even when subjective desire doesn't immediately increase. So they found when they were measuring lubrication of the vagina that would increase from mild stress, even when the women were saying that they weren't becoming more aroused. So this challenges a lot of mainstream ideas about how women experience pleasure, right? Especially in the
Yeah.
context of BDSM,
Yeah.
where sensation, endurance, and submission can be key elements of arousal. And it raises some big questions. Does pain heighten pleasure? How does the body distinguish between good stress and bad stress? How do individual differences shape the way that women experience orgasm when pain's involved? So, given your deep experience with submission, orgasm control, long term edging, and masochistic pleasure, which we'll all get into in a bit later, I couldn't think of a better person to explore this topic with.
Thank you.
So, the study suggests that mild stress can enhance physiological sexual arousal without the corresponding increase in subjective arousal. In your experience with integrating pain and pleasure, have you noticed a distinction between your body's automatic responses and your conscious feelings of arousal? So, does your body often feel differently turned on to your mind? And if so, how?
I feel differently turned on by my mind. Is that what you're saying? How if it's turned on more by the
Yeah,
stress
like
and what my
sometimes is your
mind?
body telling you that it doesn't feel good, but your mind is, or vice versa?
Oh, yes.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely. There's
Mm-hmm.
times when the pain and stress of. I mean, are we talking stress more or pain?
Well, both, I guess. They could both be the same thing. So in this experiment, we can't give people a lot of pain, I guess, and see how they're sexually
Okay.
aroused in an ethical
Just
research.
stress them
So
out.
yeah, so they were stressing them out, I think, with some kind of task they were doing. Yeah. But let's say stress or pain.
Okay. Well, stress I experienced in my vanilla life and during my job, so that does not. I don't see any arousal with the intensity of my stress level increasing
Mm-hmm.
when in my life there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but when I'm not in that role, when I totally check out of that role of being doing my daily life job, um, I instantly can go into my submissive mask, even if he's not around. So when I think about stress, 'cause I do get stressed around him or even not with him. If a stressful thing, if I'm feeling stressed about something, knowing that something's going to happen amongst us,
Mm.
um, and soon I can start worrying because does the emotional, he does the mind stuff with me a lot, and
Mm.
so I start playing that in my head things, and I stress myself out. And the stress though I can say at times it can arouse me. My mind can't really shut it off. Um, and I feel some arousal, but then other times when I'm there's some topics and some subjects we can't discuss and he stresses me out and I turn off. I do not feel as much physical um, arousal there, or
Mm.
I think I'm not. Um, but it can be seen differently. The
Mm-hmm.
outward signs can be seen differently.
Mm-hmm.
But in my mind, it's not saying it's aroused, but external of genitalia getting inflamed, reddened, moistened. So internally, I wish my body would not respond as much to the stress
Mm-hmm.
because it gives me away.
Mm-hmm.
But there are times that the mind is in agreement, doesn't allow things to happen if there's certain subjects, certain
Mm-hmm.
topics. I think I went way off there.
No, 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 you
Sorry.
didn't at all. It's fascinating. So you have a similar experience to these women in the research because they also were getting physiologically turned on when they were saying that their mind was not because they were stressed. So it's a
Yes.
similar kind of outcome for you. So, how have you personalized your practices to accommodate your unique responses to stress and pain in the context of sexual pleasure with your sir or your master?
Well, with him, how do I do it? Um, it's it's really I'm trying to get this right because I kind of giggle about it. My body almost isn't my own,
Mm-hmm.
um, and it responds naturally to him. Um, the thought of him, talking to him, but around him and everything else, I, I'll, it just instantly gets everything gets erect. I mean, the nipples, the clit, I just get internally turned on, and my mind does at thoughts of what's going to happen next with us.
Mm-hmm.
What are we doing? What's around the corner? What do I get to experience? What do I get to feel when I'm already feeling everything? I'm already feeling so intense around him, or the thought of him, which is even worse sometimes, I think, because I have a very vivid imagination, and it can get, we've discovered it gets me into a lot of trouble. Gives me away too much sometimes. Um, lets my body do the talking, which it shouldn't sometimes.
Mm-hmm. So I'd love to go deeper into this concept of orgasm and denial with you. So it's my understanding that your owner controls your orgasm and has trained you to orgasm on demand. Can you tell us more about that? What does this mean and what was the training process like?
Um, well, the training, it means that first. It means that first of all, being in a very the life I was brought up religious and everything, orgasms when I got older were only brought on by myself or use of my fingers or a toy. I could never orgasm, and it took a lot of work. I didn't
Mm.
understand it, didn't understand my body. Um, and so that kind of wakened up out here. Um, but it started, oh, the first day we met, the orgasm control. Um, saw his blue eyes, but he already was in my head so much. Sitting at lunch, our first lunch together, we're sitting there and he's just like touching me and then just kind of starts petting my hair and just gives my hair a little tug and tells me to come. And my mind's looking at him like, what are you talking about? You know, and my body orgasms.
Mm.
And I'm like staring at his eyes, like, what the fuck is going on here? And I'm enjoying it
Hmm.
because it's internal. It's like, holy, it feels like a true orgasm, but it's almost more intense because it's this fire that starts up inside and then it engulfs the clit, the labia, the nipples, all these little nerves start coming together and it's a wave. And he just looked at me, just keep coming. And my body didn't stop. And here I'm in a public restaurant. And I'm trying to hold it in. I'm trying not to be verbal. And he's sitting there grinning at me and he's drinking his wine. And then he just says, Oh, God, ruin, stop, ruin. And I'm still looking at him like, no, I'm not going to do this. I'm enjoying this. Is where's this come from? I have not experienced this, but my body stops. That's how I was trained.
Mm.
It was natural. And some people still, it's like, how is that possible? I don't know. Um, it works for us. It gets me through some painful times because I think in my head, I can't come. No, I can't. And he helps me get through the pain by telling me to come, telling me to orgasm. Just says come. And that's also when the pleasure and the pain coincide. I'm not always allowed to come. I'm not always allowed to orgasm. It's on his control. He, um, and it's just his voice. It's just the way he says it. My mind just connects. My body hears it, even if my mind's trying to fight it. And I've done it. I've tried to fight it. Um, I've tried to take control back. Um, and there's several times I would use my vibrator. I had my rabbit. We've got several, and I used it. I was
Mm-hmm.
determined to prove to him that I could still orgasm on my own, and I couldn't
Mm. Okay.
until recently.
Ah.
Recently, I got a little feral, as he likes to call it, and I didn't share it right away with him, but I usually tell him if I've tried to come on my own or whatever. He kind of giggles. Said, "I love this. You didn't get anywhere, did you?" I said, "No, I didn't." It just makes me more sexually frustrated and more aroused for him because I'm trying and nothing happens. Um, but yeah, I just confessed last week. I think it was earlier last weekend um, that I had tried, and my mind just went vivid with me, and I just got in my imagination, and I was really stressed out about stuff, and really just aroused beyond belief, and I orgasmed on my own for the first time, and I liked it,
Mm-hmm.
and so I did it 2 more times that day, 3 times. I orgasmed 3 times, and with my vibrator, not even just really aroused. I think I was reading something or watching something, a video or something, and got myself really aroused. And so then I told him about it. And he's like, "So you've gone feral. I don't have control." I said, "No, you still have control. I'm just able." He's like, "No, we're going to retrain this." And so when I met him, he's like, "Okay, what are we going to do? You're in denial. I put you in denial." And that's what he does. He puts me in denial and tells me when I can come. And so today we had a long experiment, thanks to your article. And yeah, he's got control still.
Okay.
I went low feral. I've not tempted it again. I'm not going to for a while until he took the vibrator. He took my rabbits away.
Oh.
He took them away for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole orgasm on command, it happened, and I don't regret it. I kind of enjoy it. It's another part of being submissive to know that that's in his control.
Mm-hmm.
And people, I mean, he did loan it out to someone, um, and they were able to do it too when I was with them. So it is a verbal, but he'd already been mind programmed to that person. Um,
So you just mentioned that you were loaned out. What do you mean by that?
well, there is another Dom that I'd followed, and just very interesting. And I happened to be traveling, and he offered to reach out to him and see if he was wanting to play with me, and he was. So plans were made. So at the end of my trip, I went and visited him. But prior to that, we'd all three conversed and everything. And my owner told the other Dom how he, at a certain time he would transfer agency during my trip and give him agency and told him the commands and everything. So my mind was already being programmed to allow this other person to control my orgasms. And so when I met this other person, he met me, and I was with him for several days as a total slave, submissive slave, and treated him like the master and followed his commands. And he had control of my orgasm.
I'm curious to know, did it still feel like your first sir, your first master, did it still feel like he was in control of you as well because he'd given this person permission?
I think, yeah, in my mind, it still was,
Mm-hmm.
but I'll admit there's probably a still point because I was still um, connected with this new Dom because to me, I just can't let someone just, I'm not a type of masochist. There are several that can just be beaten and not have a
Mm-hmm.
connection or something. I have to have a connection. So me and him, with, with my owner watching the three, me and him were already doing a lot of flirting and connecting because I have to have that intimate connection a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I was still connected with him when he was telling me to come. Um, but I knew in my mind already knew that he'd had permission and I'd had permission to follow his orders
Mm-hmm.
from my owner. So um, it felt the same, but yet I was able to connect with him as a different Dom.
Mm. So interesting. So, how has the experience of long term denial and orgasm control deepened your experience and connection with yourself and your owner?
Okay. Um, Denial. I even wrote about it a little bit. Something I love to hate. Um, when I'm in denial, I sometimes even ask to be in denial because denial to me is, yes, it's very physical, metaphysical, all that sensation, but it heightens me. It heightens my awareness of everything. It heightens my sensuality, my sexuality to the point and where I'm edging even because I'm aroused. I'm not allowed to come or not allowed to do that. Um, but in denial, I can still edge. So I get myself all worked up by different things, just living. And by staying in denial, then when I'm allowed to release and allowed to experience what I'm experiencing, when I'm given permission, it's all multiplied. It is so multiplied than rather just having an orgasm all the time to me. Um, but that's how I feel it. So I love being in denial because I can have these massive full body orgasms when I've been in denial for a while. And it's intense. I love it, but it drains me. It is
Mm.
very physically, emotionally draining. But little times I'm in denial, it just heightens my awareness of what I'm feeling sexually and
Mm-hmm.
sensually. So I can experience whatever at a heightened level.
Mm. So, since you've had such unique experiences with orgasm, I'm wondering, how do you personally define orgasm? There's definitions out there that focus more on the physical and others on the psychological side. Some say there's many types of orgasm, some say there's only one type. I'm so curious to hear, what is orgasm for you?
Orgasm for me, I think there are several types of orgasms out there,
Mm-hmm.
different levels, and they can call them physical, whatever. Because through our through our research of experiencing things, my orgasm to me is um, extreme arousal, awareness of it's very internal. It's psychological. It involves the mind. It involves the body. Involves the chemicals in your body. Um, it involves the sensations you're feeling. It is an all-encompassing arousal that then is allowed to be you at some point release it, and it's this wave. It's this intense wave of heat, pleasure, cold. It's just this wave that erupts over my body, and it can erupt into waves after waves after waves, and different levels, different heightens, different softer, harder. Um, I wish there's a way. There probably is a way to test what goes on with everything that I feel, so I can get
Mm.
more definition because it's not just one thing in me; it's my whole being
Mm.
that is experiencing this. I can't say it's just this chemical or that chemical, or this piece of my body getting more excited and getting engorged or whatever. It's it's all of me. Um, my mind heightens. My feels like my brain's going to explode. I mean, it's just everything is just severely heightened and feels awesome. But that goes on so long, that's when the orgasm becomes painful to me. if it's gone on for too long, using too much of my senses,
Mm.
it gets painful. And that's where he gets his pleasure, watching me in pain. Um, and he'll, I'm driven to that sometimes because it hurts so bad. The muscles contracting. I've had the calf muscles and thigh muscles stay contracted and try to work them out after my extreme orgasms, the back,
Mm.
everything. Because I don't know, it involves every sense of me. It's not just the physical muscles, but it's the internal. It takes time to, because everything's heightened about me. Everything's on fire. Everything's cooled off. Everything's just highly sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I'm aware, my body, my skin, everything is aware of what's going on around it and feeling what it's feeling. I don't know. It's hard to describe, but to me, I think there are different levels, different types of orgasms. There is the physical stimulation too, and then there's just the whole psychological, you're letting your body take over and you're letting your feelings and thoughts evolve because even though it's maybe in what I'm thinking and feeling, my body physically still responds.
Mm.
I'm dripping. I have puddles usually underneath me. I have from coming from the country. It's just, sorry, I knew that coming from me, of being so aroused.
Mm-hmm.
So it's my body is still responding like any other orgasm, floods, everything. So I get very wet. It's not just, and that's without physical stimulation most of the time.
Mm.
Physical stimulation has now we discovered heightens it even more.
Wow, okay.
So
That's an incredible definition and exploration of
I'm so
orgasm.
sorry.
Thank you. No, 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 no. Don't be sorry. It's amazing. I'm sure there's many people out there thinking, I want that.
At
I'm,
times I can't believe it. I really am. Anyways, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I just wanted to ask. I mean, it's probably hard to count and come up with a specific number, but you said that you feel like there are many types of orgasm for you. If you had to guess a number, like 0 to 5, 5 to 10, more than 20, what would you be guessing in terms of types of orgasm that you've had?
I I'd probably say zero to maybe up to five.
Okay.
I'd have
Mm-hmm.
to really think about it. But 0 to 5, probably the best. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at the psychological, the mental
Mm-hmm.
pain, the physical. So there's different. Yeah, I'd say at least five,
Okay.
around 0 to 5.
Mm-hmm. Now, as part of our conversation today, I asked you to bring along something to share, such as a quote, a book, movie, something that's influenced your sexuality. Can you share with us what you've brought along today and how it's shaped your understanding of your erotic realm?
Most people are probably just going to laugh at this, but it really is. First time it was a set of books. Everyone's probably heard it, the Sleeping Beauty trilogy by Anne Rice.
Mm.
I was exposed to that in high school by my oldest sister. She didn't know I borrowed it. I did not know what it was, but that was, I think, what triggered a lot of my keeping the uh, triggering in the brain of what else is out there. I read one of them, um, and as a teenager, you don't know what's going on with your body, especially if you're told not to enjoy anything. And so it just opened up my head a little bit. But then a couple years ago, I read all three of them, and I could read them over and over again. They are amazing. I love them. I love the trial she went through. I love the journey she went through. Um, it is just, opened. That's where I got the first glimpse of real BDSM, but I never knew understood it really. But it
What
still
what
aroused
part of
me.
it? What part of it was it that aroused you when you were young?
Um, well, the first one was just the claiming, of him waking her up and her
Mm.
willingly going and not wanting her body to feel what it was feeling, but I didn't know what I was feeling. I knew I was getting, this little tickle inside, but it was like, wow, how is this possible that she's letting him do this and go through this willingly, but not willingly? She doesn't want it, but she wants it because she doesn't like the thought of being without him.
Mm. So I'd like to speak more about ownership now. What does being
Okay.
owned and collared mean to you on a deeper psychological level?
Um, Deeper cycle. Okay. Um, Me and him have come up with our own because everyone has their own terms.
Mm-hmm.
We consider ourselves 24/7, even though we never really lived together. Um, we stay in constant contact. I have things I do. Um, and being owned and collared. it gives me a sense of another sense of being. Um, I'm very much in control of my life in my vanilla world. I'm the boss.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I have to be on my toes and I have to control the situation. Um, and even in my vanilla life, I try to be in control of relationships. But I didn't want to be. I didn't realize how much I didn't want to be. So allowing him to own me and collar me and own me um, takes this sense of pleasure of knowing I don't really have to make any decisions. I don't have to do much. If I don't, I just do what I'm told. But we negotiate anyways all the time. I do what I'm told or is expected of me. I like this having guidelines set by him and knowing that I can fulfill them. Um, and knowing I'm doing this to please him because it arouses him, which then arouses me. I get aroused from that. And it's just little things. He doesn't micromanage me. He's not a micromanager. He hates that. I can make my own decisions on what I eat, drink, whatever, you know. Um, but it's the little things, dealing with pleasure, pain, um, my going about duties and walking and the way I dress and the way he likes my makeup and every little thing like that. Even my hair. I've changed my hair drastically and it's continued to evolve. But it's these little things that pleases him. It pleases me to please him and arouse him. So in that ownership being collared, and I wear a daily collar that is more acceptable in the vanilla world. Um, and I always know it's locked on me. And knowing that's there, it does give me a sense of well-being. I mean, I feel safe
Mm.
knowing I'm owned. I feel I don't always want to say complete because I hate thinking that someone else needs you to complete you.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think it's several things. It's everything you involve yourself in that completes you, but he does complete me in that retrospect of my sensuality and sexuality to a point of completing me, but allowing me to still grow. But his his authority over me is allowing me to experience, and that's what I almost need. It's almost like a permission given,
Mm.
which um, to me is what an owner does. You give permission to do things, um, and I like getting permission um, and being allowed to do something.
Why do you like getting permission?
Um, I think that I don't. It makes me feel like a good girl.
Mm-hmm.
Makes me feel like I've done something for somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've always been in even in my village, I'm in the caregiver role. I like to
Yep.
please. I like to bring a sense of well-being to other people. But he's at a heightened level. Um, and it's very warming. I mean, past couple of days we've got to spend day and night together. I've gone to work and come home and he's there. And it's a sense of, okay, instantly come home, get undressed, get naked, get in the mode, wash my hands, do what I got to do. And then it's just, like last night though, I didn't need that. I couldn't do that. I got naked and I crawled into his lap and it was like, I'm home. And crawling into
Mm.
his lap made me home and everything just washed away. I didn't have the stress of anything, didn't have the job, didn't have to answer to anything. I was just home
Mm.
being with him.
Mm.
Is that better?
Beautiful. Beautifully said. Now, before I dive into my next question, I have something from one of the listeners to ask you about. And
Okay.
today's listener question is: what lessons have you learned in kink that you'd want to share with someone new to the scene?
Mm. Oh, okay. Don't be so hungry. Take it easy.
Mm.
Um, you can get lost. You can get that flurry, that frenzy. Um, I experienced it. Almost got lost in it. By getting exposed to it, I got hungry and hungry for more, which excited both of us. But to me, I was sensing us almost getting a little too careless. Um, because it's a cruel world out there. You can run into some real weirdos, and and be careful. Give yourself time, take each little change you have or experience, give yourself time to grow with that and encompass that into your life before you get hungry and go out for another bite of something else.
Hmm.
Take what you learn and grow with it for a little bit before you take another bite or learn something new.
Hmm.
Don't get the frenzy. Take your time.
That's great advice. Thank you.
Oh,
You've said to stop worrying about how you're perceived and start living how you're designed. How did you come to embrace this philosophy?
I came to embrace it by just finally realizing like that I'm a woman with sensual and sexual needs. Um, I'm allowed to live that way. I'm designed that way. We're all designed a way to um, experience pleasure um, and sex and sensuality. And by allowing myself to live that way now, because I'm just the way I'm designed. Let me start that over. I'm sorry, my brain.
It's okay. So you've said stop worrying about how you're perceived and start living how you're designed. How did you come to embrace this philosophy?
Well, most of my life, I always worried about how other people saw me, how I um, was I good enough? Did I do something right? Did I present myself right? I judged myself on what other people around me thought or perceived me as. Um, and now I'm learning to live how I'm designed, how I was made to be a woman, to be sensual, to be sexual, just to be an explorer of life, not just about BDSM. There's life out there to live. So you need to live, stop worrying what others think all the time and enjoy what you yourself can bring um, and discover through your pleasures of through BDSM, through kink, any type of kink, and what the world has to give you and how you can handle that. The world will judge you on every little thing you do, and you've got to stop worrying about it. I wasted too many years, decades, worrying what other people thought of me and not what I thought of myself.
That's so powerful. Thank you. Now, many people fear that discovering their sexual self later in life means that they've missed out. What would you say to someone who feels like it's too late to discover their erotic identity?
Oh, never too late.
Hmm.
Um, I often wonder, like, what have I missed out on? I haven't missed out on anything. I feel I'm a mature woman. Yes, I'm a mature adult. Um, but now I'm capable. I'm more aware of what the world is out there. And I can accept it more willingly almost, I think, because I've been exposed to so much of the difference of different things. And being mature, being older doesn't define me on what I've lost. It's what I have left to experience, what is out there still for me to get grasp hold of and enjoy.
Mm. So, in what ways would you say submission has made you feel stronger in other areas of your life?
Um, it's actually helped me relate better to my daughters,
Hmm.
which is really, and my family. They don't know about it, of course, um, but they always saw me as very much. They saw me almost as a subservient wife. You know, I was yes in control, but I played that duty. Um, but now they see the strong woman that's very independent, going out, traveling across country to live on her own, to find friends, make a new life. That independence is what's made me, and being independent and choosing, though, to submit, to surrender and be submissive has made me stronger because now I'm choosing it and I'm independent at choosing it and giving it. And all they see is an independent woman that's grown stronger on her
Mm.
move. That's what they're saying. My new
Mm.
life has made me independent and not needing of everyone else's approval because that's what they're seeing and the choices I've made. They don't know about the kink side, but just my outwardly living. They've seen that now.
Hmm. So, what's next for you, Em, in your erotic evolution? Are there experiences or kinks that you're hoping to explore in the near future?
Well, yes. Actually, we're trying. Totally sound like a submissive masochist on here, but we are playing a little bit on my switch role, a
Hmm.
tiny bit, because I'm so in control of my job. It is there. Sometimes I can get a little bossy, even with my owner. Um, and so he says, let's try it out a little bit. So, we've got, we've interviewed a few little male things for me to play with.
Oh, fun.
Um, yes, and so Princess M's going to come alive. Um, and see what's out there on that realm. And then we are always both hungry, so we're always looking for something new to discover. But there's going to be stuff out there.
Love it. Well, maybe you can
Oh,
come back sometime and tell us how Princess M is going.
I will, most
Hmm.
definitely.
Hmm. So, Em, thinking about the wild journey you've been on in the last year or so, from previously living in the Bible Belt to now living as an owned and collared submissive, if I was to ask you to sum up your sexuality in just one word, what would that word be?
One word. Wow, you make it difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Um, alive.
Alive. Beautiful. Well, I'd like to thank you for being so open and sharing yourself with me and our listeners today, Em.
Thank you very much for having me.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you again. I'm Em,
Thank you.
and this has been the Erotic Realm podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, I'd love it if you could follow the podcast and leave a rating or review. Your support means the world to me, and it helps the Erotic Realm grow and reach more people who may benefit from hearing the inner world of fellow Kinksters. I'd also love to hear from you, my listeners, if you have questions you'd like me to ask on the podcast, want to be a guest and share your story, or if you're ready to explore your erotic realm one-on-one with a coaching package, head over to theeroticrealm.com. Thank you so much for listening, and as always, stay perverted.